Hi, my name is Jason from Capity Cars, and today I am going to show you how to set the charge timer in a Generation 2 Nissan Leaf X or G. This one's a Japanese import. So I'm going to go down and push the zero emission button down the bottom to get into the settings, and then I'm going to select the one on the left, which is the charge timer settings. Now the Nissan Leaf has two charge timers in it, so if you want to set up so that you can charge Monday to Wednesday, for example, at a certain time, and then on Thursday and Friday you want to charge at a different time, then you need to program settings for 1 and 2. In this particular instance, I'll show you how to program settings for charge timer number 1, and number 2 is done in exactly the same way, so obviously just set that at your own free will. So to get into the settings for the charge timer, I'm going to push charge timer number 1 down the bottom, and I need to choose what time I want to start charging. So in my particular instance, my cheap power, I switch over to the night rate at 10 PM. You can call your power company, find out what time you switch on to the night rate if you're unsure. So in my instance it's 10 PM, so just using the plus and minus buttons, I'm just going to go through and choose 10 PM. So that's set now, so that's my start charge time. Now the next one down is the one to choose, this is the second button down, is the one to choose whether you want to charge to 80 or 100%. Now I'm a big believer in only charging to 80%. That'll put in around about 4.1 volts into each individual cell in the battery, and there's strong evidence to suggest that after 4 volts the oxidization that occurs on the negative terminal in the battery is quite a lot higher. So in order for longer battery life, I'm going to go through and select 80%. And then I'm going to go back up the top. Now the next one down is going to let me choose which time I want to finish charging. So in this particular instance, I'm going to stop charging at 6 AM, which is when my cheap power turns off. Now by this time the Nissan Leaf will probably already be charged based off my day-to-day run, so the EVSE will have already disconnected the power, but just in case we're going to go through and put in 6 AM. So again, it's just using the plus and minus buttons and then the arrow buttons for AM, PM. So I'm happy with that. Now on this screen we need to push OK, which is the one down the bottom, to save it. I'm going to come to the next one down, which is going to let me choose what days of the week I want to charge. So in this particular instance, I'm going to set my charge timer up to go on charge timer number 1 for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I'm just not going to have a charge timer on Saturday and Sunday. So it starts with Monday at the top, and if you arrow down, comes all the way down to Saturday and Sunday. So you just use these ones here. Now if you are setting different charge timers for different days, then you just arrow across and choose either charge timer number 1 or charge timer number 2 on which day you want it. Again, it starts at Monday and goes through to Sunday. So once I'm happy, I've got all mine selected to charge timer number 1 on Monday to Friday, I'm going to go through and push save, which is the button at the top. So now those there are saved. I've still got my start time there, which is 10 PM at night, and so now I'm happy with everything. I'm going to go through and click save down the bottom, and then it's going to ask me whether or not I want to confirm all these settings. So it's giving me a quick overview. I'm starting at 10 PM at night, I'm finishing at 6 AM in the morning, I'm choosing only to charge through to 80% for longer battery life, and then down the bottom it's got the days of the week. So I'm setting mine for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. I'm happy with all of this, so I'm going to go through and push yes, which is the button on the left. If you're not happy with this, then no is the button on the right. So I'm going to go through and choose yes, and it's going to save those settings for me. Just give it a second, and now it's gone through, and you can see that the orange light has come on against charge timer number 1, and it's just giving me a brief overview of charge timer number 1 again. So number 1, charge timer is on, start at 10 PM, finish at 6 AM, and charge through to only 80%. So now every time I plug my Nissan Leaf into charge, if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday or Friday, it will always start at 10 PM, always finish at 6 AM. Now there is one other thing which you should know about the charge timer, okay, and that is that down on the side here there is a little button which turns the charge timer off. So if for some reason you've gone out, let's say on a long trip in the morning, and you want to use your car again in the afternoon, so you need to plug in and charge, you want to override the charge timer so that it charges straight away, you just push this button here and it will start charging straight away. As soon as you plug it, it turns the charge timer off. So back to our screen over here, I'm just going to push back now, and we're back to where we started. So that's how to set your charge timer on a Generation 2 Nissan Leaf. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below, and if you need any help, I'm in Kapiti Cars. My name is Jason, Kapiti Cars, Paparam. So if you're swinging by, pop in and see me. I'm always happy to give someone a hand. Cheers.